welcome back to the kitchen at Thuya Hill. I'm very delighted to have you with me today. As you can see from the previous footage, we did visit our local apple orchard. It's that time of year, September has hit, and it is apple season without a doubt. We picked this whole bucket of apples during our trip to the apple orchard, and we got half Fuji and half Crimson Crisp. The Crimson Crisp is really sweet and crisp, just as the name suggests. And the Fuji is a little more mild. So what we're going to be doing today with our beautiful glut of apples is making a good old-fashioned apple cobbler. Now there are tons of variations on an apple cobbler. I like to put oatmeal in mine, so that's a little bit different. I do also add cardamom to mine, which is not something that everybody does, but I love cardamom in so many things. I'm going to share with you my recipe today, and we will go through the process of what to do with a beautiful glut of apples when you come back from the apple orchard. Okay, so we are going to start out with a cup of flour. I'm going to be using einkorn flour today because that is what I have on hand. These are just regular rolled oats, and I'm going to do a half a cup. I love this crumble because it is easy. It's a quick recipe. It's definitely a crowd pleaser, and it doesn't take that many ingredients, which is always nice. Now we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I am using sucanat today. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can add more or less, just depending on your liking. And we're also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. Again, you can omit that. That's just my personal taste preference. Okay, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. After all of our dry ingredients are put in the bowl, we are going to mix them together thoroughly. It smells really yummy. And now we're going to take 8 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to melt this over the stove. Okay, my butter is all melted and ready to be poured in to the dry ingredients. All right, and now I'm going to combine the melted butter with these ingredients until it's crumbly, and we'll make for a delicious topping to our crumble. I really like the addition of oats to this crumble. It just adds kind of a unique texture and just an additional flavor profile, which I appreciate. All right, so our topping is all mixed up and ready to go for our crumble. Now we're going to get on with peeling and cutting up our apple slices. This recipe calls for about 6 to 7 cups. You can do a little more or a little less, just depending on what you prefer. It's really your call. It just depends what you want your crumble to taste like. Okay, so we have our 6 to 7 cups of peeled and sliced apples, and now we're going to add sugar, lemon juice, and a bit of flour to thicken it up. So we're going to add an additional 1/2 cup of sugar to this mixture. We're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of flour in order to help this mixture become thicker. So you're going to add an additional teaspoon of cinnamon to this. It smells really good. I mean, it's so simple. The recipe is not complex at all, but it's so delicious, especially when you're able to get freshly picked apples. I mean, it's just an excellent fall dessert. Could even be a breakfast if you ask me. So we've got our apple mixture all mixed up, and we're going to put this into a dish and cover it with our apple crumble topping. All right, in goes our apple mixture. And next we're going to put on the topping. Now this has hardened up a bit, and because it's a crumble, it doesn't need to be perfectly covered on top of the whole mixture like a pie crust would be. You just want to crumble the bits over the top of the apples. So now our apple crumble is all ready to go into the oven. We are going to bake this at a 375-degree oven for 35 to 45 minutes. After 35 to 45 minutes, we will check to see that the top is nice and golden brown and that the apples are cooked through. And that will be it. We'll then remove it from the oven and enjoy it. All right, here is the apple crumble fresh from the oven. As you can see, it is golden brown on top, indicating that it is very much done and ready to be enjoyed. So now we are going to let this sit for 15 minutes, and after that we're going to serve and enjoy.